Reading with Mr. Baumhofer.
Greetings, third graders. Mr. Baumhofer here with video number 2 for poetry. So I have up on my screen a poem called Jabberwocky. It's one of my favorite poems, and it was written by Lewis Carroll, and that was the pen name of a man called Charles Lutwidge Dodgson. And he wrote Jabberwocky. Something else you might know that he wrote is Alice in Wonderland. He wrote that book, and that is what the animated movie is based on. He also wrote Through the Looking Glass and a bunch of other fiction stories and poems. So this poem in particular is called a nonsense poem. He made up a lot of these words, but he stuck with the basic concepts or tools to make a poem, and that's our rhyme scheme. Okay, and that's where we use words at the end of our verses or lines to rhyme with words at the end of other lines. And then our verses make up our stanzas, which are our chunks of the poem, kind of like paragraphs in an essay. So let me read you this poem. And again, I might be mispronouncing them or pronouncing these words the way I want to. When you read it, you might pronounce them a different way so that it makes a little more sense to you. But try and imagine what's going on in this poem. So Jabberwocky by Lewis Carroll. 'Twas brillig and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware the Jubjub bird and shun the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, long time the manxome foe he sought. So rested he by the tum-tum tree, and stood awhile in thought. And as in uffish thought he stood, the Jabberwock with eyes of flame came whiffling through the tulgey wood, and burbled as it came. 1, 2, 1, 2, and through, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumphing back. And hast thou slain the Jabberwock? Come to my arms, my beamish boy. O frabjous day, callooh, callay, he chortled in his joy. 'Twas brillig, and the slithy toves did gyre and gimble in the wabe. All mimsy were the borogoves, and the mome raths outgrabe. Okay, third graders, so I hope you enjoyed that. Here's a little picture, an artist depiction from long ago of what maybe the Jabberwocky looked like. So what I want you guys to do is think about what this poem maybe means to you. To me, it's kind of like what this picture depicts: a young boy or girl just out playing and imagining they're battling a monster called the Jabberwock, and defeating it and riding triumphantly back to their mom and dad saying they beat the monster. Or it could mean something completely different to you guys. That's okay. But I want you to look at what Lewis Carroll does with his rhyme scheme. He makes up words but makes them have similar sounds. He also breaks up his poem into verses of 4 that make up his stanza or his stanzas. Okay, so I want you guys to try at home, maybe coming up with your own nonsense poem or coming up with a poem that does make sense. Try to come up with 1 or 2 stanzas, maybe something about springtime if you're not really into monsters, or something about unicorns or rainbows or whatever you would like to make a poem about. So try to do that at home and be creative with it. Okay, third graders, that's it. Stay tuned for more